Welcome back to Angie's Art and Craft Creations. I'm Angie and I'm the owner and creator of the content on this channel. Today's video is going to be this beautiful sunflower tumbler. It's kind of a double V split. I absolutely love it, and this is how she turned out. Simply gorgeous and sparkly. And you know, I watch a lot of videos and I see that people complain or have problems and issues, and I've had it too, but with micro bubbles showing up on black. And I don't know if you can tell, but there is absolutely no micro bubbles in this final coat of epoxy. The final coat that I did use on this is by Jessica Flynn's Flynn Sisters Boutique, her premium epoxy. It is the absolute best. I love it. And I have no micro bubbles. And yeah, I think this is just an absolutely gorgeous tumbler. And I wanted to share my shirt with you real quick. And if you've seen a couple of my last videos, I went to Pigeon Forge and went to Dollywood. And I got this shirt. It says, "Figure out who you are and do it with a purpose. Oh, then do it with a purpose." I love Dolly Parton. I always wanted to go to Dollywood, so I hope you enjoyed my shirt. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and get into this video. And I apologize again, I'm going to tell you later on, but for not getting this video out yesterday. Things are just so hectic, and having boys and sports and games and practices and work, and it's just, so I find it hard sometimes to find time to do my things. So I apologize. I will try to not let this happen in the future, but you know, sometimes life is what it is. So again, I apologize. However, please enjoy this video. And if you are a current subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. If you are not a current subscriber, please consider subscribing. It's free. And if you like my video, give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. I will get back to you, and enjoy the video. Thanks. All right, so we're going to start off here with the sunflowers. A sheet of sunflower vinyl from Butterfly Lane Designs, and then a 20-ounce skinny from Hog Stainless Steel Depot. And then I'm going to use this gorgeous decal, half sunflower butterfly, the little paint splash under it. And then I'm going to proceed to trim all 4 edges off of this beautiful vinyl. I'm all nice and straight. Make sure it's lined up. And then after I got all 4 corners or all 4 sides off, I'm going to take it and fold it in half and cut down half of that. And then I'm going to take my slicer again and split that in half, line up that point down there at the bottom to the cut line and get it cut in half. And then here I'm trying to figure out how I want to put the decal on there and the vinyl. And I go around a couple different times, try to figure it out, which way I'm going to like it, which way it's going to look the best. And that's just too much open space on this particular tumbler for me. So I'm like, wonder if I can just put a little like 1/2-inch border of this vinyl. I don't necessarily if you call it a border, but you'll see here in a second what I'm going to do. I'm trying to decipher how much of this that I'm going to need. So I take my little fabric ruler and I make little 1/2-inch tick marks on the back side of this, on both sides. And then I'm going to take a little ruler and make straight lines all the way across both sides. And once I have that done, I'll use my little paper slicer there to line up that line. And then on these cutters, I have little tick marks on that cutter part that tells where it's going to stop cutting. I just line that up with both of those, and there you have it. A little 1/2-inch strip of the vinyl, and voila, I have it figured out. And once I had it figured out, I'm going to carefully line this up and cut off just that little square there, the end of it. I can get it apart. Sometimes they're hard to get apart even with nails. There we go. Cut that off. Lay it down. Make sure it's going to still be straight on there. And then use my little squeegee tool to apply the rest of it onto the tumbler. Trying to be careful not to get any air bubbles in there, air pockets. If you do, you just take your little craft knife and poke them out, cut them out. And get this lined up nice and straight, and voila. I'm going to go through, pardon me, and just make sure that there is no air pockets in there. Make sure that's nice and tight to that. You don't want any air underneath of it. And then I want to line these 2 points up perfectly together, so I'm going to use my ruler again with my pencil and make a little mark there so that these V's line up on the front and on the back. And I like it, so I'm going to take that, cut that tip of that point off, V, and apply that little strip. That's probably some of the easiest vinyl here I've ever laid. Little pieces are quite easy. Snip those ends off and then just kind of push them together. And then cut off the excess. Making sure it's nice and straight. There's no air underneath those edges. And voila. Beautiful. Cut that up, clean it up. And just good. So then I'm going to take my painter's tape, a little 1/2 inch, I think, maybe 3/4, and cover up all of the edges of the sunflower vinyl so that we can move on to the next step. And as you can see there, the tape is too big for that little 1/2 inch strip, so I will take my knife there and cut off that extra. And I'm going to also trim off the edge or the bottom. Can't forget the bottom. We'll be applying some glitter to that. And here's where I was talking about cutting that edge off. So it's just to cover the vinyl. And voila. Make sure the painter's tape is all nice and pressed down. I'm going to take some gold by Arteza. What is this? Yep, just plain gold. I'm going to put one coat on, let that dry, use my heat gun to dry that. And then I will mix in some of the glitter glue by Artistry Epoxy. Stir that together. Put another layer on there. Once I dry it off, like I said, with my heat gun. And I'm going to apply that second layer, and then for the gold, the glitter I'm using is by Glitter and Pixie Dust. It's 24 karat gold. Beautiful, shimmery, shiny gold. It's got a few different colors like blue and pink and I don't know. It's gorgeous. Apply that, immediately remove the tape. You don't want that sticking to, you don't want the tape pulling up any of the glitter. For the white section, I'm using Liquitex Basics Iridescent White. Apply one layer, dry it, apply the second layer with some Artistry Epoxy Glitter Glue. And then I will also be using from Glitter and Pixie Dust some Pearly Whites. And then remove that tape. Try to struggle here a little bit. Didn't want to mess up the line. And then once that's dried, I will take some Mod Podge and cover up all of the glitter areas to seal it. I don't want any of that glitter running into my vinyl. I don't want any of the gold running into the white. Okay, get that bottom also. She's looking good so far. And here we go with a first coat of some KS Resins Liquidy Split. 20 mLs. I used 10 of A and 10 of B. Actually, I may have used 25 mLs for the glitter, but I don't recall. Sorry. But nevertheless, you just want to mix up enough to get the tumbler covered and go over it with my heat gun to pop any, or not my heat gun, but my torch to pop any bubbles. And let it spin and dry. Stuff dries in like 2 to 3 hours, so you can move on to the next step pretty quickly, provided that you have the time to. Having a job, having 3 boys, that are much younger than my children, so I've been out of the parenting loop for quite a while, and these boys are all in sports, and I just run out of time to do stuff, and it's kind of aggravating, sort of. I mean, I love it, but I don't have a lot of time to do my stuff. Anyway, so I was just making sure there that the vinyl or the decal was going to fit in there perfectly. And the tapes that I'm using, the stripping tapes, are this gold color. It's off a set that I got off of Amazon. And the other one that I showed you there looks like it was black, but once you put it closer to the design, the vinyl, it looks kind of blue. So I switch it up here in a minute. You'll see that. I'm just going to take that striping tape and go over all of the edges of the vinyl. Try to get them square dab in the centered line there. Probably didn't say that quite correctly, but get it centered on there as evenly as possible. And then I'm going to slice right down the middle, pull off the little pokey ends on the front and the back of this. Doing it this way is pretty easy. You get a nice, perfect V-point there. Get these edges off, the excess that I'm cutting. And there you have it. That's the gold. I love it. I love it. And then this is the stripping tape black, which I realized that the other one wasn't really black. So then I'm going to proceed to go down the middle of the gold stripping tape on the whole tumbler. And this really just brings the whole tumbler together with this little black on here. I love this tumbler. I have a feeling that one of my viewers is going to love this cup. I've been wanting to make a cup for her, and Patty, if you want this cup, it's yours, so just let me know. It's a beauty. She is a gorgeous cup. I love it. And the fun thing about this is I can always put this on a smaller tumbler too. or a bigger tumbler, whichever. But so go ahead and get that black striping tape finished up. And again, I'm going to go down the center of all these points, put a nice little cut in them to get these edges, the ends of them off, nice and clean. And there you have it. Oh, well, after I do the back. Get that last one. There we go. And then I'm going to apply this decal. I didn't quite have it right where I wanted it, so you'll see here I had to pull it up. I was trying to get the body of it even with the V of the design. So it's very centered. And I think I got it there. Go use a squeegee and get that applied. Use my squeegee to get out any air bubbles. Cut off the excess so it doesn't overlap the vinyl. And then I do take my CC DIY quick coat and cover all of the vinyl stripping so that none of it lifts under epoxy. And right there, some of it doubled over, so I had to cut that off too. But gorgeous, simply gorgeous. I love this one. Then I'm going to go ahead and put my logo on the bottom of it. And, you know, I've come to realize that these logos aren't really the best for these kind of tumblers unless I have more coats of epoxy on there, because it has that little divot and then I have to end up cutting it so it lays flat. And I poke out any air bubbles in that. Not air bubbles, but let the air come through, I guess, from the underneath, if that makes any sense. Just make sure everything's all nice and laid down before I apply that quick coat. And she's ready for some epoxy. And then after 2 coats of epoxy, this baby is finished. She's gorgeous. I love her. I appreciate you watching today. If you enjoyed my video today, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And if you are not currently subscribed, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you ring the bell, you'll be notified every time I load new material. Just looking like it's going to be less and less of Tuesdays and Saturdays. So my apologies, you guys. It was supposed to come out yesterday and it didn't. So I'm so sorry about that. But here she is. She is beautiful. And again, I appreciate your watching, and have a good day, have a good night, whatever it may be for you. And I will see you in my next video.